What emotional needs do most people underestimate during this season?
I think so, like, as a whole, so through, the whole perinatal phases, I think that people underestimate the amount that community and what realistic mental health care looks like. Because whatever spectrum of, like, the crunchy part you're on, right, as a
Mhm.
parent, I think that, like, everyone let me see. Sorry, I'm thinking for a second.
Oh, you're fine.
Everyone has maybe an idea that, like, "Oh, okay, like, I've heard about postpartum depression, but, like, that's not gonna be me." Right?
Mhm.
And the thing is, like, postpartum mental health disorders, it's not just depression. So,
Mm-mm.
like, I think that people don't think about, like, how can prenatal anxiety come up? How
Mhm.
can postpartum anxiety or postpartum OCD or postpartum depression, right? Like, how can
Mhm.
those things show up? And, like, not having the ability or not feeling safe to talk about what those things could look like, because even if and the hope is that nobody has that, right? And nobody deals with that. But the reality is many, many people deal with it.
Mhm.
So being able to not necessarily, like, prepare yourself for the worst, because we don't wanna do that, but also be aware of, like, "Okay, well, how does this normally show up for me? And how can I either myself or have other people in the home or other people around me be aware of when I'm acting outside of my norm?"
Yeah, absolutely.
So, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. What emotions tend to come up for people who are waiting, delaying, or unable to have children?
I think it's what I've come across is a lot of melancholy,
Mhm.
uh, and it will vary from each reason, right?
Mhm.
So, maybe someone, right, who has tried and tried and tried, especially utilizing IVF, and those have been failed attempts, right? They are potentially going to have a different reaction or feeling than someone who is delaying at this time to have children. Because
Mhm.
the feeling of melancholy and grief and, like, emptiness a little bit is there regardless of what reason, but I think it's also potentially approached differently in society dependent on that reason. So yeah, I would just say melancholy is a lot of what I see, but I do try to encourage um that it doesn't mean that people are less than because they are either making this decision or their body is making this decision for them. It just means that the path is going to look different. Um, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and, as somebody that's had 8
Yeah.
losses, I completely understand that, and it is different, it's looked at different from society, and there are different feelings with that, and, yeah, it is hard to, not feel the judgment or the stigma, if you can't have kids or if you're delaying, there's so much that
Yeah.
goes into that, so people just
Yeah.
don't understand unless they've been through it, so
Yeah, and I would add to this too of there's a lot of feelings that come up when people are talking about children, right? And then
Mhm.
also, I mean, a lot of us know that we probably all know someone in our lives that maybe we assume shouldn't be trying to have kids or
Yeah.
shouldn't be continuing to have kids because of their
Mhm.
circumstances, and that can lead into jealousy, that can lead into anger, but it's being aware of, like, there's no right way to approach this, and being
Absolutely.
able to have an understanding and having, realistic support
Mhm.
in talking about this when it's just being able to sit in the understanding of, like, there is no further understanding.